Have you ever heard some funny gun stories? Most people have. Well, most of the people I know have. This is Alan with Quarter Horse Arms, and I thought I'd give you some interesting gun dealer anecdotes. As I was sitting, writing some stuff down, I just started thinking about, a few incidents that had happened over the years, and I thought I'd share, three of them here with you today. So, is it opinionated? Oh, hell yeah. And if you're a gun dealer, you've probably run into this. I figure, most of the dealers have had to deal with straw purchases. But this one was actually kind of humorous, which, one night it occurred about 10:30 p.m. And normally I wouldn't have answered the phone, but I had my business phone right there, and I figured, what the heck, I could, make a sale or help somebody out with something. And, after answering the phone, the guy tells me he needs a gun right now. And I'm thinking, like all kinds of warning bells are going off. First off, by the time the guy gets the gun, assuming he has a permit for it or a concealed carry permit, we're probably talking, transit time. It would have been around midnight. And I'm thinking nothing good could possibly happen from needing a gun right now at midnight. So I told him I couldn't help him. He then responded, well, I need a gun now. What am I supposed to do? And I'm thinking I got a whole bunch of answers, none of which would be appropriate for this podcast. And I said, I can't help you. And he goes, but what am I supposed to do? I said, I'll tell you what. Give me a call in 3 days and we'll have a conversation about it. Which, was the end of the conversation, and I never heard from him again. And, hopefully he did not find anyone to give him a gun at that point. The second one was also kind of humorous. This was at the beginning of my inspection from the ATF. And so the agent comes in and, I introduce myself and I get a business card and stuff. And the first question from the agent was I wearing a gun? And, I immediately responded with, no. And the response was, well, why not? And I'm, as I'm stumbling over words, I just actually tell the agent that, well, I thought meeting a federal agent while wearing a gun could be a bad idea. And the answer was, no, want you wearing a gun all the time. At which point I said, okay, no problem. And then the question was, do you have a gun in reach? And I said, absolutely. And then the next question was, where was it? And I said, none of your business. And the answer was, good answer. So it was actually kind of funny, having heard all of these horror stories, about ATF inspections and stuff like that. That was from my very first one, and I got to tell you, it was pleasant. I will always remember that conversation about not wearing a gun to meet a federal agent. Okay, so that was two of them. The third one was kind of weird, and the story for it is a little bit on the long side. And basically what happened was one day I receive a call from a detective in a neighboring county because apparently somebody had a gun theft. And at the time, it was actually over a revolver. And the detective was going, I'm looking at your website, and this revolver is not the one that the guy had stolen. I said, look, I can provide the paper trail if you need it. He goes, how about you just give me the serial number? I said, sure, no problem. At that point, I didn't think anything of it. And, a couple hours later, I get a call from a guy looking for kind of a small sort of pocket pistol. It was in fact, I remember it because of the incident. It was a Taurus 709, so a single stack 9mm. It was used, and I think I was selling it for $200. And, the guy said that he'd be there in a little while. I said, no problem. I'll set it aside. And before the guy got there, I said, you know what, let me pull a couple of other ones out that are in the same price range. Figuring, all right, as a gun dealer, maybe the guy will walk away happier and I'll get a customer to come back. Or I'll make a few extra bucks because, he'll like the other models a little better. And so this guy shows up in a BMW, beefy guy, short haircut, and says, I'm here for the gun. I showed him the other ones. He goes, I'll take that one. No big deal. Throws down $200. And I said, well, not a problem. We have some sales tax and we have some paperwork to do. And he goes, well, I left all my ID at home. I said, no problem. I can set it aside and you can come back and get it later. It's not a problem for me at all. And he keeps telling me he's a really good guy. I said, look, I can't help you. I mean, the next thing he does is throw $200 more. So now I've got 4 $100 bills sitting on a counter for a $200 gun. He keeps telling me he's a really good guy. I said, I'll hold the gun for you until you get your ID. Picked up the money, handed it back to him. He kind of smiles and leaves. And a couple weeks later, I had another customer show up who is a deputy from yet another county. And I said, this seems going to seem like a weird question, but was that a sting? And, he's an investigator. He's not a wear a uniform guy. And, he goes, yeah, it was. I said, does that crap really work? And he goes, more often than you think. Ignoring the fact that I could risk losing my firearms license, I really don't look good in orange jumpsuits. And so not wanting to go to jail, not wanting to pay a fine, and not wanting to lose my firearms license, I followed the law. But it was pretty funny that all of this happened within the scope of one day. So I never found out who orchestrated the sting. I don't know if it was a sheriff's department. I don't know if it was from the ATF. But apparently I passed, since I still have my firearms license, or my FFL, and I have not been thrown into jail or dragged into court. So a couple of funny anecdotes. I'm sure I'll remember some more, and I'll put them up. And, again, this is Alan with Quarter Horse Arms in Snow Camp, North Carolina. Feel free to call or text 919-808-6480. Email info@quarterhorsearms.com. And as always, the website is quarterhorsearms.com. You guys have a great day. And if you think of any funny stories that you want to share, by all means, let us know. Have a great day.